All right, let's do this. Man, look at that. We already got 4 lurkers.
Lurkers.
I see Reese and Chris are watching. We'll be talking about we'll mention Reese a little bit later. So when we talk about March to Victory. We dropped down to one watcher now. Oh well. So as I was putting this together, I noticed that we haven't done this in 3 months.
Why?
Well, back in November, I got to have open heart surgery. And you're asking yourself, well, duh, Baron, you smoke cigars and you drink whiskey all the time, but that ain't the reason. No, I was born with a congenital heart problem that required me to have a new artificial valve replacement. So I've joined the zipper chest crew. So that was back in November, and I'm just now kind of feeling back to normal. So that's where I've been. I don't know where Steve's been.
I've been waiting.
He's been waiting. He's been in his box while I
was rocking. What do I do? No, I've been painting.
I haven't. That's what's been bad.
Yeah, as soon as I heard you were alive and saw that you were alive and trying to flash the staff in the hall with your nether regions, I started painting, and I've been painting for trying to get everything ready to go for March to Victory. So.
Well, yeah, Chris says he's going to start calling me Timex. Yeah, because I'm listening to it right now. It's loud as hell. Speaking of March to Victory, I am going to show you what's what. If you give me a moment here, where I can share our screen. There we go.
Yeah.
So this is the wonderful website set up by the Baroness herself, whose birthday it is today.
Happy birthday!
So if you go to marchtovictory.net, you'll see this wonderful website she set up. We've got a video, last year's program. It's got our dates on here. There's a button so you could hit the gallery and see all the games. We got some nice quotes like small con, but every table was a gym, as you can see from some of the pictures. And that's some more of the great picks. Look, you can even bring your kids. But I like the March of Victory. Felt like the start of something special.
Yeah, so, and if you didn't go, it was a good time. It was a great time. And I was very tired by the end of that weekend. You were exhausted, but if you were thinking about coming, come on out. It is a great con.
Yeah.
Second year.
Yep. And if you go to the attend button, you can buy your ticket early, and you save $3, and you'll have your name tag waiting for you. You walk in like a high roller, and you get the exclusive March to Victory miniature, which I will be printing out for everyone. Also, if you want to help out, there's a flyer you can download from us to put up around your local friendly gaming store or just around town. And if you do buy a ticket, you get 2.5 days of gaming, up to 16 tables of wargaming, 10 vendors, concessions, many adult beverages available at the bar from 6 o'clock to 10 on Friday and Saturday. Got a raffle on Friday, a silent auction on Saturday. We'll do some GM awards, and the parking is free. Sunday, we're going to have a gladiator tournament and have like a last call shopping Sunday swap meet. click on the schedule, you get to see what all these games that we've already got scheduled. We got McMurray here on Friday night is going to run this big ship game. He sent us a email today. It may not,
4 tables.
well, he's gonna have these big ships on sticks, so we'll be playing on the floor as it is. So, but it may not be Victorian. It may be more modern, but it'll still be cool. And then Saturday, we've got all the games, all the sessions. We've only got a couple left, and we're still a couple months out. And like I said, we got some special events. We got Mr. Thomas Foss of Skull and Crown will be coming in from the coast to run his games and hang out and just
super nice guy.
Yep, and just generally hang out with people and talk gaming.
Did you mention food?
What?
Did you mention the food?
Well, we're going to get to that.
Oh, it's so delicious.
But we got our local game store, Game Cafe, is going to be there, and they're going to have a board game library. So we can have some board games. We're trying to get a whole separate room where they can just hang out and play. We've got some vendors already. Like I mentioned, Game Cafe, of course, will be selling our wares there. Jayhawk Board Games, which does the Battleground games. Sir Hobbs will be there. He was selling a bunch of stuff last year. Mm-hmm. And we got Prospector's Corner, which is basically where all of our old games, old lead will be. If you would like to run a game, we've got a handy dandy GM application, which we do things a little bit different. We send in a picture or two because it looks really nice on the War Game site. Got our sponsors down here. You'll notice Chronicles Not J, Gamers with Coffee, Veteran Wargamer, and our boy Todd from Wardrobe plays World War II.
Is he coming out?
I don't know. I sure hope so. But you'll see our games we've got so far. We got all the pictures, and we have got a ton of variety this year. So we've got an Aliens game. We got a World War I cavalry battle. We've got my own Battle for, and me and Ken are running the Battle for Ren's World, which is the classic cover from Rogue Trader. Chris will be doing his Battle of Salvo Island. So we've got some World War II naval. We've got some Vietnam. We've got the Breaking Lances tournament. We've got a 54 millimeter Vietnam game. We've got a War of 1812 naval. We've got a Plains War battle. We've got some guys who are doing an introduction to DBA. Thomas Foss will be running his Kessel Run game. We've got Lebanon, 1983. We've got a French Foreign Legion game. We've got another 40K game in 15 millimeter. Got a Necromunda game. We've got a World War II. We've got Steve's, which he's going to show some stuff here, the Lost Outpost. So if you like zombies and you like Star Wars, come on out.
And you are in luck.
You are in luck. Clucky's got his big 54 millimeter French and Indian War that's blurry for some reason. A Red Dawn game. And, of course, Steve's Terror Island. Where we're at, we're just outside of Kansas City proper in Blue Springs, about 20 minutes from downtown. But we're centrally located right off I-70, so really easy to get to. And we've got, like I said, we've got our sponsors. You can look it up here and see where there's hotels. We've got the gallery you can look at. You can look at our gallery from Battles and Brews and May the 4th, which are fundraisers for March to Victory, which are great little mini cons in themselves. So, for instance, like Battles and Brews is done in our local brewery, and we had some great games last year. We had a Star Trek battle. We had a GI Joe game. We had a Triremes game. We had a Wasteland Warriors. We had a modern Middle Eastern game. It was McMurray ran a big 28 millimeter kind of a Space 1889 game. I did our Battlesuit Alpha, so pretty darn cool.
I will say this: that if you're interested in playing a game, you'll be able to play a game when you come.
Yes,
there's a ton of people there, and there were a ton of people. I mean, last year was the only year, but there were a ton of people there. However, there was nobody standing around wanting to play that couldn't play. It was like if they were standing around, it's like, hey, do you want to play? You can get in here.
Yeah,
no, I'm just walking. I'm walking around, but thanks. They'd come back later to play, but it's super kid. And Jay mentioned that it's very kid friendly, family friendly.
Yeah. Ooh, we lost Steve. Maybe he'll come back. But yes, it's a more intimate setting right now. We had about 121. We're expecting more this year. Again, very kid friendly, family friendly. The person who won the Breaking Lances tournament was like a 12-year-old. So, Charles, hello. Okay. So McMurray's going to be running an 1890s era.
Did you lose me or what happened?
Yeah, you just went out.
Must have been a hiccup in my
Oh, and Todd will be coming. Chris says that he bought a ticket. Good. So Steve was saying yes. Another reason to come. Chris says giving him beans, and the reason he said that is because the Miller family will be back this year serving their scrumptious concession food, and it is not microwave hot dogs and Jimmy John's sandwiches. It is, pulled pork nachos and homemade beans, like Chris said, with big chunks of brisket in them, that kind of stuff. They are hearty meals. And as we pointed out earlier, on Friday and Saturday night, we have a bar there because this is an old VFW place. And so got a bartender that's going to come in and take care of us. So that'll be nice. And that's something else I thought of, and I can't remember what it is. I think we have I got contacted by a guy who is from Australia that's going to come by. I'm like, okay. But the nice thing is we've got people from Nebraska, the Lincoln and Omaha area. We've got people from Southern Illinois, and we've got people from Arkansas and Oklahoma, and of course Kansas coming out. So if you or your friends want to carpool together, it's a cheap date. We're only $20 to get in, $17 if you buy your tickets early, and we're gonna have some kick-ass games. I will be running the Battle of Wren's World, which is right off the cover of the old Rogue Trader book, which is where 40K first started, and that's the Crimson Fist Space Marines holding off a horde of orcs on their home world. And to do that, we're doing it 15 millimeter, and we're playing bigger battles. I have been printing like mad, so you'll see here's an old school Rhino, and my Marines end up coming out about that big. So I've been printing them up about 20 millimeter because I think the Marines should be bigger than the regular dudes. And meanwhile, Ken has been painting up hordes of orcs to throw at our brave Space Marines. So, yes, Old Hammer is the best hammer.
And just for the record, not every game there is going to be fistful of lead. There's all kinds of different rules.
No. We've like I was showing you the pictures. We've got. I would say it's you and me are running. I'm running the bigger battles game, and you'll be doing the Lost Outpost and Terror Island. I think that's the only 3. Maybe
is not Jay? Are you doing a game, running a game there, or are you just coming to chill?
No, he's running his Savo Island
Okay.
World War II naval game based on his rule set, I believe, called Ocean Thunder. And then he's helping his brother, Jay, will be in from the Veteran Wargamer. They'll be running a cyberpunk game called Kanji City. So we'll have all that.
Yes, I've heard about Kanji City. Chris is
Yes. Scott Matthews wants to know, what you working on, Steve?
Let's see if I can get them close up here. I am painting. So I'm painting and working on Lost Outpost, and I am painting what is left of stormtroopers. They're remnant stormtroopers from Skullforge Studios, and they will be what is left of the outpost, which is going to be completely overrun by zombies. But I have got a lot to paint, and this is going to be a game where instead, normally with Fistful of Lead, you've got 5 guys under your command. This you'll have 3, and your resources will be extremely limited. And then I've got this whole box of undead. And
yes, a veritable horde, you might say.
Yeah, and these guys are a lot of fun. I've got the bases yet to do, and I don't know.
I was actually going to read the
go ahead.
description you wrote. Well, I'm trying to get my phone to load and actually do it here.
I think I've got it on my phone. I can read it.
I'll read it in my movie voice.
Let me see if I can find it. Whoop, almost had it. Okay. All right, ready.
The Empire is dead. Years after the Emperor's demise, hidden pockets of Imperial troops still remain. One of these pockets were recently discovered by the New Republic. On the planet Romero 4 lies an abandoned Imperial scientific base. The Republic has dropped a squad of paratroopers in to do recon and gather scientific intel. Communication was lost weeks ago. Squadron is presumed to be lost. What happened on Romero 4? Survival horror the Star Wars way. Coming to March to Victory.
Yes, I love that it's Romero 4.
Yes.
And you mentioned they're going to have small units with a limited resources. So, for instance, if you run out of ammo, if you roll out of ammo, that person can't fire again until they go find an ammo crate. Or if we have a wounded character, you'll have to go find a medical crate, or there's a vehicle available, but you have to get parts for it. So,
and there's droids. There's droids that will do certain things and help you. Basically, your goal is, think of the movie Aliens, where they were trapped on the planet trying to get off and send out a signal for somebody to and they had to do a bunch of computer gobbledygook. But droids will help in aiding that, and you just got to basically survive. So you can work together. It's probably best that you do, because you're probably going to be dead.
Yeah.
So we're going to be play testing that here probably in the next couple weeks, and
then we'll
get that ironed out.
Get lots of pictures of that to sort of whet everyone's appetite for brains. And in the other game you were going to run is Terror Island, which we did a play test run of that last year, and I think we figured out where the bugs are and stuff like that. But that'll be another trying to grab resources from Captain Nemo's crew.
There'll be some added things into that, and there's a lot of riches and rewards to be found, and that's more just kind of campy fun, over the top kind of pulp stuff, with lots of silliness in it, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, but that just shows we've got a pulp game, we've got some sci-fi, we've got some horror, we've got a ton of historicals, that kind of stuff, and we still got people who haven't turned in games that I know that are going to be coming. So it'll look great. So,
are the guys coming that brought that the Scooby-Doo thing from St. Louis?
I don't think so, or if they haven't sent it in yet. That was a very popular game.
Yeah, that and the guy that had the aliens game.
Yeah, he'll be there. James Harness. He came out to Wiley War Game weekend.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, and ran the game that he totally undersold. We just thought it was like cowboys, and then it turns out they were like haunted scarecrows and possessed pumpkins and all this stuff. And everybody's like, if you should have led with that.
It was like zombie corn or something. It was like, yeah, if you would have told us that, you would have had standing room only waiting to get in.
Yeah, we were like, I was like running a game and went to the bathroom, and I'm walking by and I'm like, is that like a floating scarecrow with a scythe in his hand? And he's like, yeah, we got that and all that stuff. And I'm like, well, shit.
Yes, it is. Well, yeah, and it's like, I think we finished our game early and we went over there and like, hey, what's this? I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Could have sold that one. Should have led with that. But yeah, we've got that and some nice looking big ball. That's why we put the pictures on the website. Unlike, sometimes you go to a convention and they've got the games listed and stuff, but you don't really see what you're signing up for till you show up. So
and sometimes, and I hate to say this, sometimes you go places and the games don't look good. They don't look good. I like games that look good, that you want to go, hey, that looks kick-ass, I want to play it.
Yep.
Every game there looked like you wanted to play it, and it looked good. And maybe that's snobbery on my part, but
no, you just want to present a quality gaming experience. If you're going to come out and play, you don't want to play with sticks and styrofoam. So
food. But
gumdrop means that he's out of action.
But if you're, if you can make the trip, it's worth it. Plus, you'll get to see Jay.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you get to see Steve. You get Thomas Foss. You get Not Jay himself from Not Jay's Tabletop Gaming. You get to see Todd. Now it sounds like from Wardrobe Plays World War II. So we'll have to get him to come out and actually put a game on. And if you're lucky enough on Friday night, you might get a McMurray spotting. That guy is driving in from St. Louis Friday night, getting up uber early, or hell, he made us leave from that night and drive 7 hours to be in a wedding. So
that's commitment.
Yeah, well, he's driven to my house just to show up on a Thursday night a couple of times, where he's driven like 3.5 hours, played till 10 o'clock, and then drove 3.5 hours home. I just
couldn't do it, man.
I couldn't do it. Well, he always says, I spent 8 hours in a car, driving around in his patrol car. So to him, it's not that big a deal to just drive around all the time. But no. Nope.
No, sir. I can't stand to be in a car more than X amount of hours.
Nope. 4 hours and I get in a plane. So we drove to Gen Con, and that was 9 hours, and it pushed me to my limits. It's not because McMurray is awesome; it's because he's crazy, Chris. But yes, he is also awesome, even though he's got some strange fetish with Steve. But
Who doesn't?
and apparently Thomas. I already had to warn Mr. Foss that he might get some goober that's drooling all over him, but he's all right. So yeah. The other thing I was going to talk about was, since we've got the Rogue Trader 40K type game going on, is, if you hadn't seen it, we had got a ton of people who wanted to try Galactic Heroes, but couldn't wrap their head around making their own stats for everything. So we came out with the Codex Galactica Grim Dark Edition, and my son Marshall wrote 90% of it. I just did the layout and illustrations and stuff. So it's got, I think there's 14 different factions, and so you can just basically pull out your miniatures, and they're already statted up for you. And it's a living document at this point before we decide to print it, which means that we're constantly upgrading it, changing some stuff out, adding new factions. So one of the things that people wanted was Necromunda and the Space Dwarfs. I'm going to call them squats because I'm old school, not the Sons of Votan or whatever it's called, League of Votan, that they're calling out now and charging you $40 for a book, just that's 90% fluff. So Marshall just told me today he finished all the Necromunda gangs, so we'll be adding those, and then me and Steve are old school Necromunda players. We were like been playing since it first came out with all
that first edition,
with the cardboard and the plastic towers and all that kind of stuff, playing in like on your kitchen table. Before they had gangs, but they didn't really have like gang powers and stuff like that.
Nah. It was we were playing in my old basement.
Yeah, we'd play that, and then we'd play Blood Bowl. And so he's gone in using some of the newer lore, and then after that, I think he's going to work on the squats, as I'm going to call them, and then Steve, since he's already done most of the grunt work for it, since he's done tons and tons of Star Wars cards, I think we're going to finally do a Star Wars Codex Galactica. So we'll have them all statted up, of course, just like we did with the Grim Dark Edition. It'll be the smuggler, the princess, the farm boy, to not use, of course, real pictures or anything like that, like we do on our cards.
It'll be very apparent.
Yeah,
I will say though that
the Dark Lord.
Yeah, it'll be very apparent, and I think I've been thinking about it, and it'll be in categories. It'll probably almost will go like New Hope, Empire, Return of the Jedi, or however it gets end up broken up, where it's like scum and villainy in a set, and Rebels, all your Rebels in a set, and
you can't copyright Empire and Rebels, so we can still call them Stormtroopers. No,
you can use like what some of the guys do that sell files online, like Insurgents and Authority.
The Far, Far Away edition, yes.
But I have, I don't even know if we could say that.
Yeah.
I have probably a couple hundred characters, I think.
Yeah.
Like I've got almost everybody. And when I say everybody, that's all the creatures and everything in Jabba's palace. I know that. Probably the least what I have is Cloud City folk.
That's easy enough. You just got to stat up Ugnaughts and the security forces.
Yeah, I've got Ugnaughts. Not Jay will be disappointed because I do not have Ewoks yet. It's easy.
Yeah, yeah. There, you just call it the 70s Space Opera Edition.
Yeah, yeah.
Or just, distant galaxy.
But it is, we've got, we've done a lot of stuff. Like when we were statting up, like when
Charles
Mandalorian first came out, statting up how would Baby Yoda or Grogu rather, how would he work and move and operate in the game? And it's actually pretty kick ass because he can move with the Mandalorian and protect him. I think Scott Matthews had him one time, and he was basically had a protective bubble on Mandalorian, and he was walking down the street just wiping shit out. But yeah, we got all kinds of stuff.
What do we decide? You're calling him Goo Goo?
Yeah, Goo Goo.
Goo Goo. Get away from it.
Baby Goo Goo.
We can just call him Baby Jedi.
Baby Goo.
Or Baby Force Master or whatever.
But, I mean, we've got, and if you go back and you watch some of the games that we played, we did the one where we had a bunch of Jedi versus a bunch of Inquisitors. We've got damn near everything. So
well, the nice thing is the different factions have a different play style. Like especially in this Grim Dark edition, each faction kind of has a different play style to it. And from what I've seen of what he did with the, we'll just call it the Underhive gang or the Undercity gangs. Each one of the gangs has a different kind of play style and a different sort of, so they're not all the same. So I think the Ewoks, we should give carnivore for their,
because they eat the stormtroopers.
They're eating them stormtroopers, so they have to stop and chow on them.
See, if George would have done that in the movie, people would be everyone's favorite thing from the movies is the Ewoks.
But he had to sell those stuffed Ewok toys, which is what he was trying to do in the first place.
Chub Nub.
Yeah, well, we'll have where he's Chub Nubbington Ewok detective will have to be in there too. So
he'll be in the pulp game. Crossover. But yeah, I know like a lot of people have asked about the Star Wars stuff and the cards, and we can't say
we can't do the cards as is because we'll have the mouse on us in moments. They'll be showing up at my front door.
Yeah, but it will be set for you to just, you need a picture of Lando Calrissian, get on the internet and put him in there yourself.
Well, I liked your idea of we could probably get around using painted miniatures in the picture rather than actual.
Yeah.
So we could take one of your painted Landos and put it in there if we needed to. Yeah. And then people will be inspired to paint as good as you paint. So
sheesh. Right now I'm just questioning. I'm like, why did I just paint this like this? Because this is so.
Yeah, that was my other thing, was trying to just get back into it. I've had all these months off and I just could not make myself do anything. That was the whole thing, was it's like the Baroness was like, you got all this time off, you might as well just do stuff you want to do, read D&D books and paint miniatures and, write down ideas for different games that you got coming up. And I was like, nope, I'm just going to lay here. I'm not going to do any of that stuff.
I had 2.5 weeks off of vacation over Christmas, and I had all kinds of grandiose plans. And, I didn't do anything. I didn't touch any of this. Yeah. Which now I'm like, I wish I was. I tried to paint while I watched the football game, and it was like my hands were like shaking.
Damn it! Yeah. Well, I had a so at the end of as sort of a checkup on how everything's going, I had to wear a heart monitor for 48 hours. And of course, it was during Sunday. And I'll probably have to answer some questions when they call in and say, between 3 and 7 p.m. on Sunday here, it looks like you're having lots of palpitations. And I'm like, yeah, because the game's so.
Yeah. Oh, I can't even imagine. But I'm praying, I hope that I can get everything done. I have a feeling I will be done the day before March to Victory. I'll have stuff ready to go, but I have a feeling it'll be the night of the spraying stuff and getting everything ready.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll be doing cards and stuff last minute, and generally, I usually spend about a couple of days just piling stuff on the game table of what all I'm going to need to take, and then I have to like make a checklist of dice, terrain, miniatures, quick reference sheets, that kind of stuff.
What would be kind of cool for that? What would be kind of cool for that codex for Star Wars is to also put a few scenarios that we've played in there. You know, like
definitely.
We talked about the scenario with that, which we still haven't played, but it'd be easy to do. Is the one where your Mandalorian and his group of whatevers, and you're escorting the little frog woman from point A to point B, and in the show, Grogu eats the eggs, and
you have to keep the eggs from getting eaten at the same time.
Yeah, he'll eat all the eggs if you keep going. So we got all kinds of crazy stuff that we think about, and here in a couple months, I mean, we'll have all kinds of new stuff because the new season's getting ready to start.
Yeah, March
1st.
First part of March.
March 1st.
Yeah. I've been watching the Bad Batch on Fridays, just watching an episode here and there, and I've been enjoying it because they're doing all this stuff where they're covering the transition from clone troopers to stormtroopers, and we've got to the point where now the remaining clone troopers are questioning Order 66, like, why did we do that, and why are we, they're starting to get like a conscience about it. And meanwhile, they're talking about how much it costs for the clones and all that stuff, and it's just easier to hire any old person and put them in the stormtrooper outfits.
Yeah,
they've even got them in this sort of transitional armor that's not clone armor and not stormtrooper yet. So, which I think Skullforge is actually doing.
I haven't seen it. I don't know if I even finished the last season, but
yeah, you got worried about the stupid little kid, but she's less annoying this season. So, and they've had some good ideas for scenarios, like that, a heist kind of episode and stuff like that. Gamers with Coffee showed up. We talked about March to Victory already. I mentioned you guys, so we may have to do another recap for our latecomers here before we call it. But yeah, so
March 24th through 26th.
Yep. Good times, great tables, lots of different games will be going on. Good food, bar, that kind of thing. The other thing I was going to say is, I lost my train of thought again, and then Steve walked off. But
I'm back.
So what I've been working on when I'm not painting furiously for March to Victory is I have been working on Glorious Adventures in the Age of Steam, which is our Victorian sci-fi rule set. So you'll be setting up a detachment, sort of like a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen type thing. We've got a bunch of new equipment, things like steam jetpacks and grapple guns and all these kind of new things that fit into that genre. We've got we'll have new factions and everything from just being like a sort of soldier faction to being a cryptic society or evil scientist, Professor Nightshade. And then we'll have different locales like Mars, Venus, the moon, lost continent, center of the earth. And that'll have in there too things like, dinosaur hunts, rules to work with underwater. So we can have like Nemo's crew versus things. So you can do an underwater salvage type game. We'll have rules for air battles. So you'll have airships and stuff. And then at the end of it, I'm going to put a little bit on how to play with bigger battles. So this is basically just a supplement for Galactic Heroes since it's sci-fi. It just happens to be Victorian. And we'll have a little thing at the end for how to play with bigger battles. So like we've been playing it for a while now. So you've got, cantankerous machines lumbering about and
some of those cantankerous machines have history to where they've always been
they've developed personalities of their own. So yeah, Scott, we'll have to throw in your hunt for the big green pig. We'll make a version of that for one of the scenarios.
If you talked about recap, and if you want to recap real quick for the folks that joined in late, we haven't been on for a number of months because the Baron has been getting rebuilt.
Mm-hmm. Better, stronger, faster. So yeah, I got a new artificial heart valve and a piece of artificial aorta, a little length of that. So that was something I've been having to look forward to for most of my adult life. It's been monitored because I was born with a 2-valve heart instead of a 3-valve heart, and when that happens, you can form an aneurysm above your heart that, if left unattended, can tear and just that baby goes and you're dead in like 10 minutes. So
isn't that what that soccer reporter died of or something?
Yeah, the one that was at the World Cup, that's what he died of. He didn't know that he had it. It's also the operation that Bill Paxton had to have, but they didn't do it right, and then he died. So got the whole, opened my chest up, so I have the nice zipper chest now. Steve came and saw me, and he got to see my junk like everyone else in the hospital.
Again.
Yeah, so that was some rehab and all that kind of stuff. But I've been told that I'm going to feel even better than I did before. So
you keep calling him, going, liar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Baron is back. So.
Yep. So it was a planned operation. Just went in one day and they said, it's time. And so my wife wasn't ready for that yet, but so did that. The best part was at the end of the year, right around Christmas time. So I didn't have to take that much time off thanks to Thanksgiving and Christmas, and got to basically go back to New Year's. So I didn't have to work on my real job. And could dedicate a little bit of time to my side hustle. So for those of you who don't know, me and Steve have a regular full-time job, and we just do this crap on the side. So if you're ever mad about the number of books or something we're putting out, we're trying. We have regular jobs on top of that. And the reason your orders get filled and promptly sent out and websites get updated and websites get built is thanks to my lovely wife, whose birthday it is today. Her birthday present for me was to come down here and do this so she could have a couple hours away from me. So I work from home, so we're and so does she. So we're around each other pretty much 24/7. So that was my gift to her, was to come down here for an hour and let her do what she wanted to do.
Well, happy birthday, Robin.
Which was to rewatch the entire season of Willow. So,
and how is it? I haven't watched.
You have to kind of separate in a way. It's been updated to get new fans in, so they kind of talk like teenage Americans, which upset some of my friends from across the pond. So they use some sort of Americanism stuff, and and there's a lot more kind of snarky humor to it, but it's a good story.
It's like if Lord of the Rings was on the CW.
Yeah, basically. And if you can wrap your head around the fact that it's not actually about Willow, they just use the name. So, but there's some nice little twists and turns in there, and it looks good, I'm
gonna have to watch
but,
it.
Entertaining. So she watched it, and what I wanted to catch is on Netflix just came out a Korean sci-fi movie that looks tolerable. You still need, speaking of Korean, you still need to watch Kingdom, the zombie.
Yeah, my problem, and this is weak. Well, it's dubbed, isn't it? They have it.
Yes, and it's a very good dub. They're not not talking like this. They've got very
most
good
of their stuff on there. Like I thought Squid Game was okay dub, but
the dubbing's very good.
My issue is, and I've got like all those. I've got like Seven Samurai, Yojimbo, and I've got a ton of Kurosawa films. And I usually watch something or have it on while I'm working, and I can't watch that stuff because none of it is dubbed.
Yeah.
And I much prefer to watch subtitles, but not when I'm working on and painting and stuff.
No, this has very good dubs, and it's a great story. I'm excited for the next season to come out.
I've got a bunch of the Ultraman collections.
Yes.
And I can't, and I can put them on and just watch the ridiculousness of it, but I can't.
And like you were saying today, I wish someone made Shogun Warriors, because I'd love to do some straight up.
Go online and look at like Kamen Rider, Shogun Warriors, Ultraman, and look at the monsters when they embiggen and they fight the monsters through the city. They're just so insane, and that would be so. I would love to tabletop.
Johnny Sacco and the Flying Robot.
Yeah, I'd love.
I'm still haunted by the giant vampire that he fought one episode, and it was great. One, because they show up and there's this village that they all been infected, and they're like vampires. They just gun them down. Not even a second thought about it. I'm like, these are people that are infected, and they just gun them down. And then when he's fighting the giant vampire, what's great is Giant Robot always has like a weapon to fight whatever he's got. Like,
just so happens.
Yeah. And so he like forms this T shape, and his whole body forms into this burning cross, which he fires at the vampire guy and destroys him that way. Like, we decided that we need to put that on this model. Is like, well, just in case he has to fight a giant vampire, we better put this giant fiery cross on him that he can fire off.
And if you guys know what the hell we're talking about, Johnny Sacco and his Flying Robot, it's just so ridiculous. It's great. And it's this little kid, and he's got this little girl that hangs out with them. And they in the show, there's an episode, and Jay and I have laughed about this for years. They make her like this sniper, and she's got this rifle.
Killer. She doesn't even
care. And she's like 6 or something, and it's just so ridiculous. And it'd be so much fun to have miniatures of that and play. Of course, you have the sniper trait, but yeah. Johnny Sacco I loved that show. It was so dumb.
The best part of that is that he's just a kid on a boat, and this guy who's supposed to be a secret agent for Unicorn, like, he's talking to this kid for like 30 seconds, and then he basically blurts out that he's a secret agent, And
no one's supposed to know this.
They set it up so that when they're going to activate giant robot, the first person that that hears his voice, he will then be bonded to. So this little kid comes busting in like, "Hey, what's going on?" And then that's why they have to have this little kid always be with giant robot. And and throughout the thing they show, like, because there's unicorns, like this international group, and it'll be like Unicorn Japan, and they got these guys saying, they're like, "Come in Unicorn Egypt," and they cut to Unicorn Egypt, and it's these Japanese guys wearing turbans. Or they'll go to "Come in Unicorn Paris," and it'll be these Japanese guys wearing like black berets and stuff like that. It's awful.
They had a scarf around their neck.
A little scarf, a little beret or whatever. "Come in Unicorn Paris. Wee wee."
It's so dumb, but the monsters are just so great, and they would be so awesome to have to use Battlesuit Alpha with, because it's just
destroy the city.
I love the ridiculous, and I love, if somebody's brings a World War II game to the table, I'll play it. I don't want to paint it, but if you're playing,
but if you add werewolves and zombies to it,
then I'm painting that, I'll paint Weird War II, but I don't have to.
Well, I've got a crap ton of dust stuff to paint.
Yes,
one of the things that I want to work on is samurai. Luckily, I have a great a great resource in James Sharp at Ashiro Model Terrain, and he visits Japan an awful lot and does some great. If you've been on our Facebook page, does some great terrain for it and everything. So he's going to help me on a book for that. But for my birthday, speaking of ridiculous, Steve got me the Lone Wolf and Club collection for a Criterion collection to watch. And it is just, each episode gets weirder and weirder. And then I love that they just play this crazy, like, acid jazz, while they're like, he's like walking he's like pushing the baby cart down the road, and you're just hearing this.
But you see where they got.
And I love that it came with a poster of all the weapons and stuff that pop out of the baby cart.
Which, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you see that pops up into the Mandalorian too, because you're like,
oh, definitely, yeah. There's some great
same thing.
Well, it's like the little birds that he fires off, the whistling little birds that, all his little gimmicky stuff. That's like straight up out of Lone Wolf and Cub. So you could see that Favreau and Filoni's love for the original source kind of material too.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, I think I got one more episode to watch. It's just you got to sit down and watch them because they're just so crazy. So,
did you watch the collected Shogun Assassin?
I'd seen it before, but it's so hard to watch it because it's just a chopped up.
Yeah, but it's on there. It's on the flash disc in the special features. With
the battle was magnificent.
And he's got the arterial spray coming out of his neck.
Nobody knows what the hell. Beautiful. Nobody knows what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah, that's all right.
But anyway,
so we play every other Thursday. Once COVID lifted, we started playing, coming back to play again. But during COVID, we couldn't play together, so we decided to start playing D&D virtually with everybody. And once we could start playing again in person, we decided we didn't want to give it up. So we do kind of an every other week kind of situation. So like we're playing Wargaming this Thursday, but then like next Thursday we'll go back to playing our campaign that's been going on for like 2.5 years now, almost 3 years. And Steve has Trob, who's this big half-orc
he's basically
warrior that Steve plays like that. So he's just a big, this looks like a job for Trob. Plus in with his big axe and sword and just Hulk smash kind of thing. And I have Solcerio, the master of magic, and he's the resident wizard. But we've come upon not only just a dilemma with how to continue in this particular dungeon we've come across, but also a moral dilemma. So I'm going to put a quick survey out here for everybody that's watching. That so the situation is, Sorcerio has been trying to get into a cabal of great wizards, and they basically gave him a task of retrieving a special object that you even have to have like special gloves to like reach through the force field and grab this thing and bring it back to them. And I was under a time constraint that we needed to do this. And we get to the place, and it's like this old ruined temple, but it's covered in a force field that we can't seem to get through. We found a side door basically that's guarded by these gigantic golems that seem beyond our capabilities to fight because they're pretty nasty. They activate as soon as you walk onto the ground. So of course Sorcerio took one of his flight spells and he flew around, didn't act as long as he was hovering, he wasn't activating anything, but he basically found a mural of sorts that says, all the wards are up and they're there to protect this sacred object. And if the bad guys get a hold of this object, then it'll be the end of the world, more or less. Am I paraphrasing correct, Steve?
Yeah, you're good.
So we've got a problem. We can't get into this place that I'm supposed to grab. That Sorcerio is supposed to grab this object from. But there's also the moral dilemma that is, if we get through it, should we take it in the first place? Because there's a reason why this place is really hard to get into. So I guess my question to the group is, should we be doing this? Oh, and Scott's here, who also is involved in this this mess.
Yeah,
we tried that. I put on the special gloves, and they would not. I couldn't penetrate the force field with them.
I think it's beyond us. Doug wants to battle. I love to battle anything. I've even said this ain't going to work.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But it comes down to, should we? But as a magic user who's dedicated to just grabbing more power, basically, it makes sense that he wouldn't give a crap about grabbing this thing. So,
yeah, Scott, if you're still on here, I have thought about this. I've thought about this since we got off of playing that, and I can't figure it out.
Yep.
I can't figure it out because we used gauntlets, gloves, weaponry to get through it. Everything that's magic can't do it. Can't get through it.
Yep. I don't, but yeah, my biggest thing is if we do get through, should we? But,
he says he just needs something to steal.
Yeah, give me something to steal. Just because you can do a thing doesn't mean you must.
You should.
But how do I get to join the Cool Kid Club if I don't?
I don't know if I don't know if you can. Yeah, Ken and I know he says he says I can't either. Ken has me stumped.
Well, Scholar,
I can guarantee you it's
that he's obsessed with power. He's also convinced he's able to responsibly wield it. Yeah, and I'm like, what if these guys that want me to steal it are actually, trying to get a hold of it because it's because they're the only ones that can properly defend it.
I have a feeling that it's something very easy.
Yeah, we're just missing it. Can't get through the wall, the magic curtain so far. So, oh well. I decided to see if I could get the 8 people who are watching to help us out here, because my son plays with us. He's completely stumped. He's a druid. He's thinking about trying to stone shape through the wall, but I'm afraid he's just going to hit the magic shield, or try to go under it or something like that. So
yeah, I'm at loss. I am at a loss. So,
all right, I am going to I'm going to share the screen one more time just so we can show people who might have come in late.
Circle back.
Yeah, just show some people back to the our stop on by marchtovictory.net. It's our convention here in the Midwest. It's just outside of Kansas City in Blue Springs, Missouri. So if you're anywhere, one of our surrounding states, or like I said, we've got people coming in from, I think Minnie Warmutt's still trying to come in from Arizona. We've got a guy coming in from Australia, and then we've got Mr. Foss coming in from Northern California to play. So you can come on here. You can see some of the games from games past. It's a great little con, but for being as small it is, we've got some fantastic games. We've got how to attend if you buy a ticket earlier to save $3. Tell you all the stuff you get to have for your $17, which for a 3-day convention I think is extremely cheap.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. This is not a Wiley Games convention. There are tons of other games. We're filling up quickly. We have 16 tables.
The tables are filling, not the games are filling up.
Like you can tables are filling up. We'll take more games. Some really quality stuff like Clucky's 54 millimeter French and Indian War. Foss is running the Kessel Run game. We are open on Sunday as kind of a last minute thing. We'll have a swap meet and a gladiator battle while you're eating your wonderful Lamar's donuts, which if you're local, you know how good that is. We've got a Breaking Lances tournament on Friday night run by Mr. Foss himself. We've got a silent auction. We've got some incredible foods. We're going to have a Game Masters Award. We've got space for 10 vendors that are filling up. Got Gauntlet Games out of Nebraska. Our local game store here in Independence is doing Game Cafe. Will be provide. Not only will they be selling stuff, but they're going to provide a game library for board gamers to play. Of course, we'll be there. Baroness will be running we'll be running our store. We've got Jayhawk Games. They do Battleground. So they'll be selling and they'll be running a game. Sir Hobbs, who you might know as Dwayne Fleck, who runs recruits our local convention in Lee Summit, and we'll have a little place. A lot of people are selling their sort of gently used games and old miniatures. We've got a great setup for you can send in your GM application if you want to run a game, and then our games directory. One of the things we make people do is send in a picture so you can see what kind of game you'll be playing. And you'll notice we've got everything from sci-fi, World War II, naval, Vietnam, in 2 different scales. We've got another naval battle, 1812. We've got a big Plains War game. You can play some DBA, Kessel Run, some Modern, some French Foreign Legion, Necromunda, World War II. Steve's will be running his wonderful Lost Outpost, Star Wars meets Zombies game, French and Indian War, Red Dawn. Steve will also have Terror Island, which will be our great pulp game.
Featuring Johnny Quest.
As you can see, we're just outside the convention, just outside of Kansas City on I-70, about a 20-minute drive from downtown. So come in early Friday, get yourself some badass barbecue, go to the World War I Museum, which is
it's great,
world class. Do some shopping around town. You can buy some stuff from our shop, which you can get your discounted Vanguard ticket. We've got a tab here for where we've got a few hotel ideas. We've got a gallery. Got a gallery of some of our fundraisers from Battles and Brews, May the 4th game that we did. Frequently asked questions, that sort of stuff. So that's that in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
Here we got some. We got a quick. If I can get it to show up, why aren't you showing up? Boop, boop. Skull Gremlin said, "If the barrier is designed to keep it in, it may also be designed to keep all magical stuff out." Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're gonna have to Gamers Coffee. You'll have to fly to Arizona and drag him back. He assured us he's coming. Whether that'll stay. Yeah, we had the donuts last game too, or last year too. Lamar's is a Kansas City staple. Just to let you know, I was outside of Lamar's and there was one on the parking lot, and I didn't care about the 5-minute rule, so or 5-second rule. So we'll have that.
You have the 5-minute rule.
I don't know how long I've been there, but it was Lamar, so I'm like, I'll grab one. So, all right, we're gonna take a. If anybody's got anything they want to hit me and Steve up on, we skipped the mailbag this time. We'll next month or next couple of weeks or next month we'll probably have another guest on if we can, and
be in the home stretch for March to Victory.
We've only got like we're 2 months out exactly. We've got February.
Yeah, you're 2 months.
No, we're a month out. No, we're 2 months. February, March. Yes. So we're exactly 2 months out from
Don't
today.
scare me like that.
Yeah. So Warmuts may not come because his mother's coming. Well, she can come too.
Yeah. She likes zombies.
We'll just set her up in the corner.
Give her a bowl of beans to eat and stuff.
Yeah, just set her in the corner, give her a bowl of beans.
We'll set her
up with a Poop Deck Pappy, the official drink of March to Victory.
The Poop Deck Pappy.
Poop Deck Pappy. I'm excited to see what McMurray brings with his big ship game. He talked about them being on these stands that you can carry around or that'll move around on the floor and all that kind of stuff. The Joust game will look great because it's big 54 millimeter flats. Chris said if she comes, it may be like National Lampoon's Vacation. Well, that would solve 2 problems, wouldn't it?
Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah. I don't have to worry about a mother-in-law. And if my mom comes in to move with somebody, it's going to be my sister. So lucky.
Is that because your sister has a pool?
Yeah, actually she does at one of her houses. So Yeah, she could just set her up in the old cabin next to the pool, and I'll take care of her. So,
Sheesh.
yep. All right. Well, gentlemen and ladies, if you're watching, that was our sort of update. Where we've been, what we've been working on, and
You can always find us on the Facebooks.
always find us on the Facebooks. Also on Discord. We've got a Discord channel if you want that, and if that works better for you because you don't have a Facebooks or don't want to deal with that sort of thing. I understand. Literally, I'm only on Facebook because we kind of have to be for this sort of thing. So that's it for us tonight, and we will hopefully see you in a couple weeks. If not, we'll be in there in a month.
Yeah.
We'll try to do it more often. We'll give you an update on what's going on. So.